Let's have a look at the source address selection. If you have multiple addresses per link, or at least you can have, then you have to find out which address to use as a source if you're communicating to your local neighbor or communicating to the Google server. There are multiple steps. So in IPv6, it is common to have multiple addresses per interface, and you have to follow a specific set of rules to find out what the tiebreaker is and what address to use for an outgoing connection. A, you use the same scope or type. So if you're communicating to a link local neighbor, you're using your own link local address. If you're communicating to Google on the internet, you will use your global IPv6 address as a source. If no tiebreaker is found here, the next step is the smallest possible scope. Then in C, you use preferred addresses that are non-deprecated. If still no address is found, you will choose that transitional addresses like ISATAP or 624 tunnels are not used if you have native IPv6 connection. I will talk about that later. Fact is, you prefer a native IPv6 connection. If still no address is found, you prefer the source and destination pair with the longest prefix. So if you have an address with a prefix of 127 and another address of a prefix 64, you will prefer the 127. In routing, you would call that the longest match. If still nothing is found, then the last step is prefer the address on the outgoing interface. So if you have two interfaces with two routers and everything is the same, you will use the one of the outgoing interface.